I think back to my journey, and if I had had a community to rely on, how much faster my growth would have been as an entrepreneur and my business would have grown had I had a community to rely on, but I didn't know where to find them.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Kristen Donnelly, and I am one of the good doctors of Abbey Research. At Abbey Research, we deeply believe that curiosity can change the world because it's the only thing that actually ever has. Somebody asking what if, or could this be different, or what's over that mountain is the thing that has moved humanity forward since time immemorial. And this series is in service to that. It's the idea that if we listen to other people for a little bit, if they tell us their stories and we open up our minds, our worldview will expand and how we move through the world will change. And we'll all have fuller human experiences. It's called Welcome to My World, and I get the incredible privilege of chatting to folks from all over the world who are different than me, which is literally every human. And we have amazing conversations that you get to eavesdrop on. So today's guest is absolutely no exception. I met Sid Meadows on Clubhouse, as I'm meeting most of my new fascinating friends these days. Sid is a high performance coach and a business strategist. He helps small businesses and entrepreneurs grow and their businesses grow. Both the business and the human is a huge part of how Sid moves through the world. So I love that. He's held a variety of roles throughout his career. He did the corporate thing for a little while, and then about 20 years ago, jumped off the ledge into into entrepreneurship for himself. And one of the reasons I've invited him to talk today is that he talks a lot about how lonely entrepreneurship can be and the importance of a community. So we're going to dive into that because there's a lot of you who are possibly doing, even if you're in a business that has hundreds and hundreds of employees and you're not an entrepreneur, these days, a lot of work can feel very lonely because a lot of us are doing it from our kitchen table. So I want to explore that with Sid, and that's what we're going to do today. Sid, thank you so much for joining me.
Well, Dr. Kristen, it's great to be here. I'm glad to have had this invitation to have a conversation with you.
Oh, well, it's always a blast having a chat with you. So before I kind of launch into my series of questions, tell me a little bit about over the last couple of months, you've started a new community. You've started the Amazing Entrepreneurs Club. Can you talk to me a little bit about the impetus behind that and what it looks like?
Yeah. So in August, being an entrepreneur is a really interesting journey. It's a lot of fun, but it's also a really interesting journey. And in August, I just saw this need specifically on Clubhouse to find a way to support entrepreneurs with conversations that supported their growth and the growth of their business. And so it was during a time of, I think, transition and happening in Clubhouse with people leaving and some people coming, and it kind of took a dip. And it was at that point that, you know what, I knew I was starting a podcast called The Amazing Entrepreneurs Club. And so I wanted to have a Clubhouse club, if you will, to do the same thing. And as we got started, a lot of aha moments happened for me that this really is an important platform. It's important conversations, but it's a community. And we want to build and need to build a community of people to support each other in a variety of different ways. And that doesn't mean that it's a mastermind or that we're selling coaching or, any kind of group workshops or anything like that. We are building a community that does have a membership group with it to support entrepreneurs wherever they are along their journey.
So what does community mean to you?
Oh, gosh, that's a loaded question right there. Community is a group of, community is a group of diverse people with diverse backgrounds that, as you said in the intro, that don't look like each other, that come from different walks of life, that are there to support each other along the journey. Because as you also said, there's no handbook for being an entrepreneur. There's no, you don't just all of a sudden say, I'm an entrepreneur, and somebody gives you a guidebook and says, this is how you build a 7-figure business. It doesn't exist. But one of the
Well, I mean,
things
they
that,
are out there, but they're largely like literally selling you something and they're largely
yes,
garbage. So like people do sell that, but
yep.
no one should buy them.
Which is why I kind of say there's really not a handbook, right? But one of the things I learned very on early in my process of being an entrepreneur was just how difficult and how lonely the journey is.
Mm.
And so when I needed resources and I needed people and I needed just to talk to someone, there was nobody there.
Mm.
There was no mentor. There were no coaches. You know, my family, gosh, I love them dearly, but they don't understand it because they're not entrepreneurs. And so I needed a community. So honestly, Kristen, what I'm doing is I'm building what I needed when I started because I have one goal, solely one goal. And that is that no entrepreneur ever give up on their dreams and quit being an entrepreneur because they didn't have the people and the resources to go to support them when they needed it the most.
Okay. So let me push back. There are people that shouldn't be entrepreneurs.
Yes, there are people who should not be
So
entrepreneurs.
like, is
100%.
part of this helping people figure out if it's even the right leap for them?
I think that's a great point. You know, our community is just getting started, so we're still discovering a little bit of that.
Okay.
But I will tell you the way that I frame it, because when you say, hey, come and join our community for X dollar amount a month, it's not a high ticket offer. So it will attract a lot of people. It's not going to deter people. But in our marketing of it and in our terminologies that we use, I use the word focused a lot.
Okay.
We're only trying to attract people who are focused on becoming or building their business the way they want to. Like focused entrepreneurs is the people that we're attempting to attract. Now we're going to attract the wrong people, and some of our conversations will not resonate with them, and that's okay. We'll just expel them, if you will, from the group. We'll have to remove them from the group in some way. But that's also why we have the club. So the club is free, right? You can come into the morning conversations. We have rooms on
and the
Monday,
club
Wednesday,
just exists on Clubhouse.
just exists on Clubhouse, correct. So the Clubhouse Club is Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time with a series of conversations to support you and your growth. Okay, that's what we do. That's free. And you get to come in and you get to hang out with us. You get to hear how we talk, what we believe in. You get to really get to know us a little bit and determine if we resonate with you. If we don't resonate with you, then don't come join the club because you're going to get more of that inside the club. Now, the club meets twice a month, and we meet one morning for coffee and then one afternoon, and we alternate every other week. And we do some hot seat coaching. We do some mindset work. We have a little bit of education that happens in our Monday night Zoom session. So it's really evolving, and you're going to know really, really quickly whether or not you want to be part of our group or not.
Okay. So I think, so I'm thinking about our entrepreneurship journey as a family. Like my dad is the one who took the leap for us and then raised my brother and I in it. And for a long time, when I moved back from Belfast, I was like, well, I'm not an entrepreneur. Like I'm not an entrepreneur. And what I realized is that I'm not an entrepreneur in what he was an entrepreneur in. Like I wasn't. And the other thing is too, I was like, oh, I'm not an entrepreneur because I don't know how to make money doing this thing. And what I realized is that there are so many other people to teach me how to make the money. The important thing about being an entrepreneur is the want to do it and the ideas and in a certain way, the ability to build a team around you that you can outsource things to. And I don't remember ever at the beginning of my journey hearing people talk about that being an entrepreneur is being a good team builder, because so much entrepreneurship is talked about as a solo journey.
100%.
So it's this like weird like circle where it's like, no, you cannot do it alone. But everybody pretends Steve Jobs did it alone. And so therefore, like it's this.
Yep.
But we got to outsource. So that's a really important thing about a community is that now you have other people to help you not only outsource ideas and bounce things off of, but like, hey, literally, I need a new web page. Who's got a good person? Like
bingo.
Yeah.
That is exactly it. Because the community is not about me. So many coaches are people that sit where I sit, try to make their communities about them. It's not about me. I am the facilitator of the community.
Yeah.
Yes, I host 2 sessions a week, but we are in the process of building a Discord server. And the Discord server will provide a platform for the community to talk to each other.
Oh,
And to
see,
ask those
you get me
questions.
off. Like Facebook is why I won't join a lot of communities. You guys get me into Discord. Like I'm there. I love Discord.
So I'm figuring it out. I joined a couple of groups intentionally to learn. I do a lot of intentional things. And one of the things is I heard about Discord. So, well, let me go join a couple of groups. Let me see how it works. So we're in the process of building it out. But that you're exactly right on the point here, which is if somebody says, I need a virtual assistant, they can post in the Discord server, they need a virtual assistant. And anybody that has one can pop in, well, here's mine, or here's where I found mine, and they can support each other. I don't have to respond or give direction to where you go. The community can do that. So we are truly building a community of entrepreneurs to support each other. Because I think back to my journey, and if I had had a community to rely on, how much faster my growth would have been as an entrepreneur and my business would have grown had I had a community to rely on, but I didn't know where to find them. I had no idea where to go except Facebook. And I don't trust Facebook groups for the save the life of me.
Yeah, I think that's always the thing. Like I'm in a couple of membership communities and they all exist on Facebook. And I'm like, is there a way we can move them to somewhere else? Please. I will become a lot more active if I don't have to wade through all the bullshit on Facebook. It's why, I mean, I'm in a million Discord servers. I love Discord for kind of that reason. But thinking about it, I'm kind of, entrepreneurship is a super buzzy word. Especially right now with the Great Resignation, and lots of people are like, well, I can work for myself. You and I both know not everybody can work for themselves.
Amen.
So
yes.
In your mind, what are non-negotiables to becoming an entrepreneur?
Okay. This is a really, really great question. Non-negotiables. First off, you got to have a tremendous vision of where you see the business going.
Okay.
You got to have a big vision, because if you have a small vision, you're only going to get to just like right here with it. I think you need a big vision, right? And then I think you need a tremendous amount of clarity about what it is that you want, who you're serving, and what is the service or the product that you're providing. You really got to do the work on that to understand who the person is, because if you try to talk to everybody, you talk to nobody.
Yeah, we made that mistake for sure.
And I think that's the mistake a lot of entrepreneurs make, is they are like, oh, I have this great idea. I'm going to be a coach. Now, we could go down a rabbit hole about coaching. We won't. Sid, I am a certified professional coach. I'm a certified high performance coach. I paid the money and I paid the dues to get my coaching certifications on purpose. Okay. Because I want to be the best possible coach that I can be. But anybody can say they're a coach. It's a non-regulated industry. So anybody can say they're a coach. But if you raise your hand and say, I'm a coach and I help you with mindset. Okay, great. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Who do you help with mindset? You got to get specific about who it is you're serving and what's the transformation that you're providing. And I think that's a step that most entrepreneurs miss along their journey, is really understanding their messaging, what it is the transformation is, and who it is they're serving.
And I think they assume that all of that is written in concrete the minute they say it out loud too. I know I did. Like, who are you? So like, if it's easier, people should think of like, who are you trying to serve first?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you can evolve later, you can expand later, but at the beginning, you have to choose something first.
Yes.
And it's the same way I talk to people about, giving a TEDx talk. They're like, well, I could talk about anything. I'm like, amazing. A, you can't. And B, that means nothing. So pick the thing you're going to do first. Well, how do I do that? I don't know. Just do it. Like, pick a name out of a hat. I don't care. But you've got to do it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's like, we want to serve the planet legitimately. Aaron and I believe that everybody needs our message, because it's a different way of looking at the world and it's a healthier way and all those kind of things. But I was on a call with our sales team yesterday, and we kind of narrowed down, and I have a terrible time answering the question of who do you want to serve? Like, I have a terrible time. So I was like, you know what? Let me think about who would be a good fit. Let's start there. Mm-hmm. Because I don't know how to start from the positive. So let's start eliminating some people. And it's not that they don't need the message. It's that they won't pay for it, or they're not open to it. Because I can't tell you to care about somebody else. I can just tell you how to. So if you're listening and you're thinking like, oh, where do I even start? Start thinking about who you don't fit with. Mm-hmm. Even if you think about the world like a high school cafeteria, Pick the tables that you didn't sit at and like, just start there.
Yeah.
Because you're totally right. We tried to serve everybody. We ended up serving nobody. And now the more clarity we've gotten over the last 5 years, I can finally say, this is what we're doing.
Sure.
And we're
This
still
is the
serving
person.
humanity, but I'm targeting these 3 industries first to get a foot in the door.
So I have 3 people that I target in mind. So, and I understand them. I mean, I did the work to understand them. So I'll tell you real quickly. The first one is Debbie Dreamer. And Debbie Dreamer is a stay-at-home mom who has a small side hustle business, but is not fulfilled in life. And she wants more out of her life. And she is somebody that I can support in our community. We can help her move her business forward. So she's one of them, right? So the other one is Dean Determined. And Dean is a small business owner with about 10 employees. He's in his mid to late 40s, maybe early 50s. He's had a really successful business. But the last couple of years have really gotten him down. He doesn't know what he needs to do next to continue to grow and thrive his business. Dean is a great client for us. And then the third one is Grace Grandma. And Grace is somebody who had an amazing corporate career and has retired, but is not fulfilled. Okay. And she has this idea, and she started kind of a little side hustle, but she has this idea that she thinks can be really big. Grace is also someone that will be welcome in our community. So I have 3. But I know them very well. I have a whole document that talks about who they are, how old they are, where they live, their financial demographics, what their problems are, what their challenges are, so that I can speak to them.
Yeah. And like, viewers, what I want you to really understand is that that's not Sid being extra. That's Sid being professional. Like, that's what everybody should be doing if you're going to be a coach, which is one of the reasons that I am not a coach. Because that is not my calling or my joy. And so it's really important. I think too, I'd love to have you back. And I think that's what we should do our hottest take on, is the coaching industry. And let's have a real deep dive into coaching.
I would love that.
And especially because it's so unregulated, and that makes us as people with degrees nervous. Because
it does. I mean, my perspective is, so I'll give you the quick version of this. When I started my business, I knew I wanted to do coaching, consulting, and training. Okay. And so coaching was first by design, right? Because I had spent my corporate career as a sales leader coaching sales reps. And then I go and start my own business, and I get hired to coach people. And it felt really weird. It did not feel good. It was like, okay, what am I doing? I'm their boss. They already have a boss. Why am I, this did not feel good. And so I started doing research, and I discovered the coaching industry. And then I discovered a platform that worked for me, which is IPEC, which is the Institute for Professional Excellence in Coaching. And I joined a year-long program. And March the 15th, I believe, 2018, I walked into a room in a hotel and met 25 people that changed my life. All because I invested in myself, so that I could become better at my craft. I could become better at what I do. And then once I did that, I was like, ooh, this is really cool. I need to do more. So then I became a certified high performance coach. And then I continue to invest in myself in developing, or as I call it, my goal is to master the art of coaching. Mastery goals have no destination. You continue to work at them to get better and better and better and better. And so, if there was one piece of advice I'd give to any entrepreneur anywhere in the world, do the work and invest in yourself, or invest in yourself first, and then do the work to become the better version of who you are, regardless of what it is that you want.
I love that. And that's a great place to hit pause on this conversation, because I think perpetual growth is not like the hustle. It's not saying you don't get breaks. It's not saying that you can't go off. It's just saying that being in a growth mindset requires work. And I think that's a really big key to entrepreneurship. So we will definitely have you come back, and we'll talk coaching with Dr. Aaron, and have a bigger conversation about accreditation and professionalism and who we should trust on the internet. Because I think that's a really fun one. So viewers, definitely tune back into that. We'll hoodwink Sid back for some time here in 2022. Sid, where can everyone find you on these internets?
Oh my gosh. So pretty much anywhere you can search Sid Meadows, and I will come up. You can Google me. I will come up at the top of the page. You can head over to sidmeadows.com. On Instagram, it's Coach Sid Meadows. And then you can also go to the amazingentrepreneurs.club and find some of the resources and information we're doing to support entrepreneurs, including our podcast, which Dr. Kristen was our first interviewed guest, number 3 earlier this year. So Kristen, thank you. It's been my pleasure to be here.
Oh my gosh, it's been a joy. Well, pals, if you liked this conversation, please do the YouTube things, like the video, subscribe to our channel, do all of that stuff. It really does help the algorithm and lets us serve more people with these conversations. If you're interested in potentially being on Welcome to My World, there's also a link below to apply to join us on this very series. I love to talk to folks about anything they want to talk about, because the more we understand humans, the more we understand ourselves, and it just gets deeper from there. So I am Dr. Kristen Donnelly. My guest has been Sid Meadows. This is Welcome to My World, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.